School Board of Trustees for Center Grove School Corporation. First, our mission statement. We develop knowledgeable, confident, responsible citizens through inspirational and innovative learning opportunities. We have a skeleton staff tonight based on the current state of the world, so we're going to skip through some of these items. We'll first go to the adoption of the agenda. Oh, I'm sorry, the Pledge of Allegiance. Dr. Arkanoff will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this evening.
All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Dr. Arkanoff.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Did we see that he gets some kind of certificate? Thank you.
Close our button.
Has everybody had the opportunity to take a look at the agenda?
Yes, sir.
May I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
Mr. President, I move that we adopt the agenda as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Alexander. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Toomey and Mr. Russell. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Now is our time for public comments. Since we have the public watching online per our request, we do appreciate that under the circumstances. We have no public comments tonight. Next, we'll move to consent items. Has everyone had the opportunity to look at the consent items?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Do we have a motion to approve the consent items?
Mr. President, I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Alexander. Mr. Russell, all those in favor of approving the consent items, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you.
On to our action items. Our first action item is to accept bids for road improvements at Maple Grove, and I think Dr. Long has a short presentation to give us on that. Yes, that'd be great. Thank you.
I think everybody wanted me to come up here but Pam. I know this is the long anticipated project that we're working on. You know, we've made a promise to Bargersville that we would work to improve the traffic flow on the Maple Grove campus. This work that we have done will improve the flow from Whiteland Road back to the parent drop-off. It will also improve the driveway entrance off the Saddle Club Road, and we'll expand the bus parking lot a little bit and some of the maintenance parking as well. As you know, we continue to grow. We need more buses, and so this is kind of that long overdue project. We only had 2 bids for the project. They were both fairly close, but after an analysis of the bids, Crossroad Engineers recommends accepting the bid from All-Star Paving in the amount of $1,039,311.17. That's all.
And I'm looking behind you. I see there's a couple of different items. It's the bottom here, the $1,039,311.17.
Yes.
Does anyone have any questions for Dr. Long?
You're not concerned about the poor ratings of All-Star Paving?
The poor ratings?
That's what it says on there.
Says, I don't have any knowledge of poor ratings or
sorry.
reviews.
I should have read that.
No, that's all right. You had me worried. I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure it didn't. They didn't have anything. No, they were not aware of anything. We've not worked with them before, but Crossroads did some background check on them, and Daryl called around. None of us had any, nobody found anything, any reason to not do business with them. So we're looking forward to it.
Is the town of Bargersville good with the plan?
Yes, everything had to be approved through the town of Bargersville, both the Saddle Club improvements and the Whiteland Road improvements. So I think we're pretty good.
When are these scheduled to start?
Well,
In a normal way.
I'm going to send them a notice to proceed right after, if the board approves this. And if there's some work they can do over the next month and until we're back in school, we're going to have them get started now. We know the paving plants are open, so asphalt's available. So we'd like to get started as soon as possible and try to avoid any traffic that we might have. So in one sense, we have a month's head start of not having to wait until school was out.
Well, and I've noticed just in my commute to work that construction crews are out there working.
Yes,
As long as
sir,
they're
they're,
following CDC
Yes.
guidelines.
right.
Yes.
Carol, I'm sorry, Mrs. Toomey, did you have something to add?
No, I was just gonna add to what you said with concur.
I don't mean to be antagonistic, but we've got this signed off at Bargersville, and halfway through the project, they're not gonna come and say, you know, it should be 100 feet longer.
No, their engineers reviewed this, it's gone through their approval process, so, and, you know, I've been working with Julie Young, the town planner. They've been very easy to work with right now, and it's gone really well. But yeah, everything that we're doing has been approved by the appropriate boards and engineers.
Just don't want the door open for it to change halfway through.
Sure.
Thank you for your efforts, Dr. Long.
Sure.
Great.
I know it's a long time coming.
Any more questions or discussion? May I have a motion?
I move that we accept the bid from All Star Paving in the amount of $1,039,311.17 for road improvements of Maple Grove, at Maple Grove.
Thank you, Mr. Alexander. Do I have a second?
Second?
Thank you, Mrs. Toomey. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
Thank you.
The ayes
Thank
have
you.
it. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Long. Next, we have a short presentation with respect to the approval of a resolution in support of military families. I believe Mrs. Hoover was going to take this on tonight, but I think Dr. Long, you're going to pinch hit. Is that my understanding?
I'm going to try. I will be a poor substitution for what Mrs. Hoover would have been able to tell you. So,
I would say we would agree, but I'll be nice.
I didn't need you to agree to that, but, so we're asking the board to approve a resolution in support of military families. I think our middle schools already do it. It asks us to do a few things overtly in support of military families, including some interview options for military veterans, some recognition, somebody on staff that would be able to kind of be the expert of this, that we would have a point of contact in each of our buildings to support military families. So we're anxious to take this on. You know, we're a large supporter of veterans. I was thinking Camp Atterbury, you know, and we have a lot of veterans that live in our community, or a lot of active duty members that live in our community that work at Atterbury, and so we strongly recommend the board adopt this resolution.
Thank you, Dr. Long. Any comments or questions on the resolution in support of military families?
I think this is a great situation. Mr. Frank, that used to be one of our history teachers, kind of did it on his own back then and got it in front of the students. So with a more, I don't mean to say legit, but
Focused.
focus on it, I think it'll be good for the students and can be a K-12 situation now if we have some way of getting this responsibility to someone.
Thank you, Mr. Russell. Any other comments or questions? May I have a motion?
I'll move that we approve the resolution in support of military families as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Alexander. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Hubbard. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next, we have a second reading of proposed policy revision.
Who's pinch hitting for
Who
Nora
is
on this
pinch
one?
hitting for
Hi, Ken.
Mrs. Hoover on this? Dr. Arkanoff.
Yes, thank you. This would be the second reading for the test security provisions for statewide assessment. As you heard in the last board meeting, nothing has changed. It just requires 2 readings. This would be the second reading for this policy.
And the materials are available. We've all looked at them and they've been available to the public. Does anyone have any questions with respect to the second reading of this policy?
No, as usual, it's just getting it in line with the state.
That's correct. You know, there was changes made at the state, so we changed our policy for that. Of course, now we're not gonna have any testing this year, but, you know, so.
We still did our duty.
Yep. So we would just need a motion and approval this year, this board meeting.
Any other comments or questions? May I have a motion?
I move that we accept this second reading of the policy. Don't have my thing up, sorry. Wait a
You
minute.
want me to make the motion?
Well, I move that we approve revisions to policy 2623.01 as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Russell. Do I have a second?
Second?
Thank you, Mrs. Toomey. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, thank you. Next, we have a very important resolution. It's a resolution relating to the coronavirus work disruption. And I'll turn it over to Dr. Arkanoff to explain this.
Thank you. In the packet, you'll see this resolution that's presented before you. This resolution, the board will be authorizing the school district to provide for all employees that are not under contract to be paid while not working during the corona or the COVID-19 impact across the state and across the country. So we ask that you approve this resolution so that we're able to continue paying all of our employees while they are without work during this time.
Thank you, Dr. Arkanoff. Do we have any comments or questions with respect to the COVID-19 resolution?
I have one question. There's no date in here to kind of maybe end this or revisit it? Is
That's
that-
what I was gonna ask. Is there an end date or
or
is
we
this
just-
indefinite?
As long as the state is considers a pandemic, we're gonna do this?
That's correct, yeah. We'll just continue on based on it. Whatever decisions are made are based on that issue, that the COVID-19 issue. So it'd only be used during those times.
So once we vote on this and approve it, this will go into effect until we are back to normal running school?
Correct.
Okay.
But then it's also my understanding, once we're back to normal running school, people will still get paid as if they were here full-time doing what we
Correct.
like to do in educating children
Correct,
in
that's the
person.
plan, yeah.
So
absolutely.
this just bridges the gap to make
Yes.
sure that our staff and our teachers, our administrators, everybody
Yes,
is getting a paycheck.
yeah. Bus drivers, custodians, everyone, support staff, classroom assistants, substitutes, everybody that's.
Long-term
in this, you know, long-term substitutes, yeah.
And I know this may seem obvious, but this is not extra money. This is money we would be paying anyway.
That is correct. This is all budgeted
Yes.
money, that that's in our budget, right now. So,
Any other comments or questions? I think it's great that we're able to do this.
I
And
agree.
I think it's great of what I've seen from our administrators and teachers. We're one day into e-learning. Be patient with us. Things went well. They'll even get better as we go on. So beyond that, can I have a motion?
I move that we approve the resolution authorizing the administration to take all necessary actions to handle work disruptions for employees impacted by coronavirus.
May I have a second?
Second?
Thank you, Mr. Alexander and Mrs. Toomey. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
We just have a couple of announcements. On April 16th, we will have a work session starting at 2 o'clock, followed by an executive session, which I believe will be set at 6 o'clock. Those public notices will go out. And our next regularly scheduled board meeting is also April 16th at 7 o'clock. Mr. Russell, do you have anything further?
Just that the Center Grove Education Foundation has moved a gala to August 15th, which I think was a great move. Jennifer Rako's been on it with her executive board. Of course, we've canceled all alumni meetings till further notice, and the other meetings I go to are all canceled. So I've had a little bit of vacation.
Thank you, Mr. Russell. Mr. Hubbard?
No, sir.
Mr. Alexander?
Only comment at this time, the Greenwood Redevelopment Commission finalized the plans for the $1 million influx into Central 9. It's gonna be heavily front-loaded in the first 2 years, which I was excited about, and C9, if anybody's interested, I have the plan with me tonight, but C9's got a terrific plan for how to revamp some of the curriculum and take care of those additional positions coming into Greenwood from
Thank you,
Cummins.
Mr. Alexander. Mrs. Toomey, do you have anything to add today?
Yes, would you let me know the 2 dates that you gave, and I just missed it?
Oh, absolutely. Our next board meeting, there'll be a work session starting at 2 o'clock, April 16.
Okay, thank you.
Executive session at 6 and our regular board meeting at 7.
Okay.
Anything else, Mrs. Toomey?
No, thank you very much.
Dr. Offgren, we don't usually give you the opportunity to add, but tonight I'm going to as a special occasion. Is there anything
Thank
you'd
you.
like to add?
Well, I do want to just echo compliments for the staff as we've done e-learning today. And honestly, just in general, everything that our staff's been going through, they've done an excellent job. No one has complained. Everyone has stepped up to do what's needed and go above and beyond. And saw some really cool stuff happening online with teachers and students, and it's under different circumstances, it would be really, just more exciting than it is. It's pretty exciting, but obviously the circumstances that got us here are not. But we're really thrilled about everything that's going on. Appreciate it. I greatly appreciate the board passing this resolution, keep our employees whole. It's really something important, obviously, to our community and our employees. So I said it in an email to the staff. What I love about Center Grove is we take care of each other and we care about one another. And doing this tonight is just an example of how the board does that. So thank you, and again, thank the entire staff for everything they're doing.
And I just want to briefly echo that. This is a serious situation. You may not see our area for people to sit, but we're 6 feet away. We're as far away as we can be up here. We're following CDC guidelines. Please social distance. We will get through this. We will persevere. We will be stronger as a result. So please be patient with us. Mistakes will happen, but the teachers are doing everything they can to provide the best education they can, e-learning, and I think the kids will grow from the technology, if nothing else. So can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I heard a first and a second. I'll give Mr. Russell credit for a first and Mr. Alexander a credit for a second. All those in favor of adjournment, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So be it, we're adjourned.
I think it was the other way.